what happened in the 1970s is often not talked about. It's often overshadowed. And the question is, what has overshadowed that? And the answer to that is the outbreak of HIV/AIDS. And so many of you know the ways in which HIV/AIDS has devastated the lives of countless Americans and people across the world. But what people haven't realized is the extent to which the HIV epidemic actually retold the history of the 1970s. The 1970s was this incredibly vibrant, diverse moment in American history. It gave way to an explosion of churches. It gave way to an explosion of newspapers long before there were apps, long before there was Scruff, long before there was Grindr. Gay men needed to communicate it, and they turned to newspapers. Yet the history of this has been overshadowed because doctors, policymakers, public health officials were looking for an explanation for why HIV spread. And what they said was the 1970s was a period of unfettered sex. That there were gay guys in orgies, that there were gay guys in bars, that there were gay guys just having sex. And my question as a historian was, how much of that is true? And how much of that has been used to rationalize the spread of HIV? Were the 70s, in fact, this period about just sex? Or have we defined that era as about just sex in order to explain the epidemic? And my argument is that we have diluted the history of the 1970s as a way to tell the origin narrative of HIV. And that as a result, so many key points in the history of the 1970s has remained untold. The fact that there was this extensive, quite exhaustive religious network, the fact that there was a print culture, the fact that gay men were thinking about different types of bodies, from very femme guys to bears to what we came to know as the clone. But all of that history, all of that vibrance, all of that nuance, all of that detail became shortened, became reduced to a story about explaining HIV. So that's what basically started the history of my book. That's what started me to sort of ask questions about the 1970s. And that's what led me to uncovering the quite horrific and poignant story of the Upstairs Lounge.